on. Okay. Hi, I'm Anna and welcome to my channel. My goal here is to create honest and open videos about motherhood and the struggles and the joys that come along with that. Today we are going to be talking about 7 ways to help your children get along. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Let's get started. I want to tell you guys a little bit about the children in my house and kind of why I've come up with this list of how to help them get along and just kind of how I've seen that work. So I have 2 children. Heidi is the oldest at 3 years old, and Georgia is our almost 1-year-old at the end of this month. And they honestly get along pretty well. There's a big enough difference in age that they don't really have the same toys, so they don't have to share a whole lot. And Heidi still thinks George is really cute, so that helps them get along a lot. But this year, I am being daycare for my nephew, who is almost 2 years old, and that has really thrown a wrench into my 3-year-old's life, which is good. I mean, you gotta mix things up. But they do not get along well at all. It's better since I've been using these things, but oh man, when we started this, it was awful. They just would not play together, and it was driving me up the wall. Like, you guys would have so much fun if you would just get along, but they wouldn't. So in this last month, I've had 3 children, 3 and under, in my house during the weekdays. So that's been completely new for me and completely new for my children and my nephew as well, so it's been a huge learning curve. I honestly believe that the tips I'm going to share with you today have made the biggest difference in how well they get along now versus a month ago. The very first thing that I can do to help my daughter get along with her nephew when he comes is to prepare her for their time together. Now I understand if you're trying to apply these tips for children that are always in your house, this can be a little bit more difficult, but I'm sure you can adapt this and make it work for you. The best way I can do this for Heidi is to talk to her about it the night before or as soon as she wakes up in the morning. I like to give her a little heads up. Hey, your cousin is going to be here again, and you guys are going to have a great time. You guys are going to read books together, and we're going to eat meals together. Hopefully we can get outside. We'll maybe do some schoolwork. That just gives her some peace about what's going to happen the next day or that day if I talk to her in the morning. And when she has an idea of what's going to happen, she knows she's going to be seeing her cousin. She knows that she's going to have to share her toys. She knows that everything we do is going to be done together. She's more prepared, and she's not as shocked when she wakes up and is like, oh, my cousin's here. What? I didn't know that. So that is, for me, that's the best way I can get Heidi in at least a good mindset of being able to get along with her cousin. If she doesn't even know he's coming or she's not prepared at all for the day, she is not going to get along with him, and then that makes it harder on him and on me and on our baby. So by implementing just this one thing, even if I did nothing else, it would already start to improve their relationship. Number 2 is spending quality time with each child one-on-one. Now this can be kind of hard to do sometimes, but it is so, so important. By spending one-on-one time with each child, you're letting them know that they are loved and they are valued for themselves. You are not only loving them when they share with the other child or when they're doing something good, but you just love them for who they are, just them. So I try to do this with Heidi as soon as she comes down in the morning. Now a lot of times, my nephew is already here, and he's playing really well in the morning. He likes to check out all the toys again and look at the books. So when Heidi comes down, she usually runs right to me. I gather her up in my arms and we just sit together. And I'll just let her know, Heidi, I love you. I care about you. Nothing in this world, no person that comes through that door is going to change the fact that I love you. And then the same thing with my nephew. Usually it's shortly after Heidi wakes up and we have our time together that then she gets up and is checking out the toys, and then my nephew comes over and he plops down in my lap, and I can do the exact same thing for him. I can hug him and cuddle him and love on him, and I can let him know, I love you, you are important, and nobody in this house is going to change the fact that you are special to me. By giving each of them that one-on-one time, I am able to instill in them the confidence and the love that they need to be able to share it with others. So if they don't feel loved, there's no way they're going to love each other. And by giving each of them that one-on-one time, I am taking out the need for them to fight over me. They've gotten their time with me, so they don't need to fight over me. So that's one less thing they'll be fighting over, which is a win in my book. Number 3 is spending quality time with them together. So this is super, super similar, but you just do it together. So if Heidi's on one knee, I'll pull her cousin in on the other knee, even if she's like pushing him out of the way, and we'll read a book together, or we'll sing a song together. We'll walk through the house with our instruments and go on a parade together. We will sit at the table and we'll do crafts together. We will go outside and play together. I am making sure that Heidi is getting praised and my nephew is getting praised. And my nephew sees her getting praised and she sees him getting praised. And they both see that they are valued and that the other person is valued. And most importantly, they see that I can get along with both of them. So if I can get along with both of them, that is a great example for how they can get along with each other. By doing things in a group, you are setting an example for how the two of them, or more if you have more, should play together. And there is no better example than you. You are the one that your children are looking to, and you are the one that they're going to learn from. So if you can show them how to get along by getting along in a group, then they are definitely going to pick up on that. Number 4 is super, super important, and that is to give them their own space. Now, I understand this can be difficult if you have a small house and lots of kids, but it is so important. Just make it happen. For Heidi, it's really easy. She can head upstairs and go to her room when she wants her own space. And for my nephew, I've given him a corner of the kitchen that he can escape to. It's kind of right in front of the fridge. And if he goes in there, I make sure Heidi does not bother him at all. And this has been the best thing. When Heidi and her cousin are at each other's throats, I will grab Heidi. I'll say, honey, you guys just aren't playing real well together right now. Why don't you go upstairs into your room and take a break? And she's usually like, oh, okay, Mama, thanks. And she heads upstairs. Heidi gets time to play by herself. She gets refreshed. She can calm down, have some quiet time. And then my nephew and I get the one-on-one time that we need. And likewise, when my nephew goes over to that corner in the kitchen, or if he seems upset with Heidi, I can take him there and we'll give him toys and a book and he can sit there and play by himself for a little bit. And Heidi and I can have the one-on-one time, which is good for us, but then so good for my nephew to have time away from her by himself where he can calm down, play with something without having to try and keep it to himself or share it or be worried about someone else. It just creates so much peace for both of them. So if you take nothing more out of this video, just please find a way to give each of your child their own space in the house, even if it's just a corner or a closet, where they can escape and do their own thing and be their own person and not have to share a toy for a couple minutes. Number 5 is to make them apologize. Now, I know there are several different schools of thought on whether you should force children to apologize or say thank you and please, but I'm kind of the school of thought that yes, okay, they're children, they need to learn to say these things, and you are the one that's going to teach them to say these things. And in this house, I make sure that these children are apologizing to each other. If Heidi pushes her cousin, she will get in trouble for that, but then she is going to walk over to him, look him in the eye as best as she can, and say, I am sorry that I pushed you. Will you please forgive me? It's as simple as that. I've taught her to say that, and okay, so she might be saying it out of habit, but that's the point, is that it is habit, that she knows that every time she messes up, she needs to apologize. And she will say that to her cousin, and then usually try to get a hug out of him, but then I make sure I'm teaching him, when someone apologizes to you, you don't have to say it's okay, because no, it wasn't okay that she pushed you, but you do need to forgive her for doing that. She says she's sorry, and she apologized, so then I try to teach my nephew to say, I forgive you. And I love you. And then sometimes Heidi will try and go for the hug, but he might just kind of walk away. But then the same goes for if my nephew does something against Heidi. After any discipline that needs to happen, and after he's calmed down, I make sure that he goes to Heidi, and even though he isn't really saying these words yet, I will say them for him. I'll say, Heidi, he is sorry that he did fill in the blank. Will you please forgive him? And usually the look in his face is enough for anyone to just say, yes, yes, I forgive you, I love you. I make sure that she says, yes, I forgive you, and I love you. And this form of communication is so, so important. Teaching them to ask for forgiveness and to forgive each other is teaching them good communication, it's teaching them respect, and it's teaching them to love each other. And it teaches them that when we love someone, we do apologize to them. And we are open and honest with them about our mistakes, and we always know that they will love us back. Number 6 is to let them do something destructive. Yeah, okay, not like super destructive, but like acceptably destructive. I'll tell you what I mean. So Heidi and her cousin get along the best when they are breaking the rules. That's what they do. That's what they do. They will be in a corner throwing blocks and be getting along so well and having the best time. They'll be racing through the house, shrieking at the top of their lungs, and they'll be loving it and enjoying their time together. They will be so, so quiet in a room of the house, getting into my cleaning supplies, but they're loving it. They're getting along so, so well. And it's like, I love that you're getting along, but I cannot let you break these rules. Well, why can't I? Why can't I let them break some rules if that's what helps them get along? So for example, one thing I can do is set them down at the table, give them some craft paper, and let them rip it to shreds. And then we'll get the glue sticks and paste it onto the letter A, or paste it onto some clouds and a flower. We will make a craft out of it, but just the act of sitting at the table and giggling gleefully while they rip up paper, which they're normally not supposed to do, but they've got my permission to do it, that is helping them get along so well. Children really seem to connect over breaking the rules. So if I can let them do that on my terms, I can give them an opportunity to get along and to be friends. Now hear me, this does not mean to let your rules drop. You still have rules. I still have rules. But if I can give them that feeling of breaking the rules without actually doing it, that makes them happy. Does that make sense? Sounding like a really awful idea. But it works, I promise. Try it. Let them rip up some craft paper and paste it on something, and they will love it. Let them go outside and do that yelling that you don't allow in the house. Give them an opportunity to do things they're not supposed to do in ways that they're allowed to do them. I really don't know if I explained that well. Let me know if you understand that, because it makes sense to me and it works, I promise. Number 7, and my last tip to helping your kids get along, is to not punish the behavior that you want to see. Now, this sounds like a no-brainer, right? I'm not going to punish them for doing something good, but I was doing this all the time and I didn't even realize it. When Heidi and her cousin would be playing well together, finally playing well together, that's what I would say. I would say, "Oh, thank you, you're finally playing well together. Why can't you guys do this all the time? Heidi, why can't you be this nice all the time to your cousin? Why weren't you doing this earlier today?" I'm making these children feel guilty for doing something right. Once I understood that, it was like my whole mindset changed. Why was I saying this to them? That is not something I should be verbalizing to these children, a 2 and a 3-year-old. I do not need to make them feel guilty for something they did earlier in the day. So once I realized that, all I had to do was change what was coming out of my mouth. So when I saw them playing well together the next time, in my head I'm thinking, finally, I wish they did this all the time. But what came out of my mouth was, wow, you guys are playing so well together. Thank you so much. I love it when you do this. Wow, Heidi, I saw you share that toy. That was awesome. Great job. Buddy, you did a great job. Thank you so much for bringing Georgia her blankie. I just praise them. I didn't have to bring up past times when they weren't doing the right thing. All I do is praise them now when they're doing the right thing. And by doing that, I'm not punishing them for doing the right thing. I am encouraging behavior that I want to see over and over and over again. I cannot let a single good moment go by without praising it. That is the way that I think I'm going to see consistent results, is by telling them over and over again, thank you. You're doing it right. You're doing a great job, and I love you. Well guys, I hope you liked this video, and I hope it helped you out a little bit. If it did, please give me a thumbs up and leave a comment below. Yeah, just let me know down in the comments if you liked this video, if there's something you thought I could have done better. I would love to know that. And if you have any ideas of your own on how to help kids get along, because hello, I don't know everything and I need help. And if you guys like this type of video and you want to hear more about my experience with motherhood, you can go ahead and hit the subscribe button and tap the bell icon so you can be notified every time I post, which will hopefully be Fridays. Thank you guys and have a great day. Bye!